But no, don't talk about cheating because my girl might see this.
100%.
Put the necklace on you?
Yeah.
Episode 2. So episode 1 we did 3-4 days ago, but we're in like a constant, like we're in a good streak right now of episodes. Like it's our second episode, you know, it's not a habit until you've done it 90 times. So we definitely got more shit to do, but today we have Jordan with us, CousinJay, as most of you guys probably know, and we wanted to get into today more about his story and sort of how he's been able to develop inside the social media space over the last 4 or 5 years, and sort of how that relates to kind of what we do, because, you know, as a lot of you know, like we have a connection, Jordan and I, but it's very similar to what we all do. So I wanted to bring him on today and be able to get an idea of how his life is in the crazy world of social media, bro. But thanks for fucking coming on today.
Hey, it's an honor.
Appreciate you, bro. Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, and fucking we just all met today, but
Yes, sir, brother.
we all finally met today, but you know, we've been chatting up for the last couple of hours, and me and you for the last couple of years, so we definitely have some stuff to review today. But how are you today, bro?
We both went to CousinJay Oaks High School.
Yeah, that's a story for fucking in a couple minutes here, but that's crazy. Yeah, like we come from the same town, we come from the same city, but it's not as what most people would, you know, believe it is, you know, who are there right now, or the people looking from the outside. I'm sure a lot of you guys can probably relate to this, you know, coming from a town that, you know the people that you're in, and then you move somewhere, you do a job, whatever it is, that's in a different area. But yeah, it's amazing, bro. But like, sort of, what have you been up to this month so far, this year so far?
Well, you've been a part of the process of helping me with my website, girlsloveartist.com, where I run my own fashion company, where I sell clothing such as like t-shirts, jackets, hats, and like little small accessories like dog tags or chains.
What inspired you? What inspired you to get started in that space?
Honestly, not being able to have like clothes funded for my mother, like that was like the biggest inspiration for me, because like my mom couldn't afford it, so I was like, how can I figure out a way for me to make things myself? And
Was it mixed with passion, a bit of passion to be loved in the industry as well, or you just, the reason why you did it is because your mom?
I wouldn't say necessarily just because of my mom. It was everyone honestly started in elementary school. People would say that I had like swag, and like they liked the way that I carried myself with how I dressed. But yeah, I just like always like standing out, just being myself, and yeah, like that's a great way to communicate with people. Like outside of speaking, it's like just a visual representation. Like,
what's the meaning behind the name, Girls Love Artist?
Girls Love Artists. Well, honestly, in high school, I actually started off painting clothes and painting shoes. Like the first shoe that I painted was like a pair of Timberlands, and I put like the Chanel logo on top of it. I actually messed her shoes up. Like it was like, I didn't use like actual paint that was meant for the shoes. I used like acrylic paint, and it came off and scratched off. It was horrible. But yeah, it started with me painting clothes and whatnot, and I noticed like every time I would tell girls my passion for it, I seen that they were super into it. So it's like when you're super passionate about something, like you just attract women. That could be in comedy, that could be in anything.
Girls Love Artists.
Yeah.
I love that name too, and it's cool that there's something that's actually behind it as well.
Yeah.
And even like you said, like your mom, you said she couldn't afford like clothes, and that's like another inspiration behind the brand. It's always cool to see someone having a brand that actually has like a meaning behind it, instead of like we do some drop shipping stuff, you know, and we start like brands, but we're just selling like random products online. There's nothing like, there's no real true meaning behind it besides, you know, some of us want to make that wealth so we can help other people out too and stuff.
Yeah.
So
No, it's cool because I remember, like you said, like you in high school were just doing Jordan customs.
Yeah.
Right? Like just getting white shoes and
or Air Force Ones, a bunch of those.
Air Force Ones. That was a big time too, because those kind of became a little bit more popular again.
Exactly.
Like people were like, oh, these are cool. And yeah, it's just like what the difference is like, I feel like, because we were talking about this too earlier, we've been to a couple of these like nicer stores, like, you know, with these huge price tags, and it's like, how do they charge that much? Like, how are they even able to do that? It's because it's genuine art. You know, like it may be commercialized now, but like if you look at the small boutiques, like Bottega, for example, like they're creating pieces based off of a conceptual idea of how this whole collection is going to be, and then they bring artists in and different designers that are able to put that into life.
Yeah, it's the collaborations that make it like bigger than what it is. Like you collaborating with other people, it pretty much makes you a bigger platform. Like whether it's in fashion, entertainment, or anything like that.
Yeah, and it's cool to see because it's so like multifaceted. It's so hard to build an actual brand nowadays, right?
Oh, buddy, let me tell you.
6-7 years right in the making, and it's like, you know, you're only scratching the surface. You know, you've done so much fucking crazy shit, but it's like, can we curse? I don't know, but like, it's already started, bro. Like, it's already there, and it's like, it's so crazy because you started from one thing where it was like your skill, your passion, and now it's going to develop into other people's passion, right? Like, just it was in high school first or the town, whatever, and now it's worldwide.
Yeah.
But it's like that progression, man. Like, we don't usually see it as you do, where it's like, it's genuine. It's a genuine progression because
100%.
the work that we've put in, for example, with kind of like what Nate just mentioned, like the dropshipping brands, a lot of it's run and gun. Like, a lot of it's just like, how can I make the first, you know, $250,000? Like, how can I make the first, you know, 100,000 and then get out of this thing? Where it's like, it's so hard, right, to do that over time, right? Like, you know.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's I just love the whole aspect of actually having like a true meaning behind something that you're building, you know?
Yeah. And to add on to that, like with my brand now, what I'm doing is working with like small up and coming artists that like paint or do music. And I have this one guy, he's from Germany. He just moved out here, and he invested. He's gonna like stay here for as long as he can until he makes it. Like hopefully he makes it. And I'm gonna document his come up, and we're gonna collaborate and do like a little small drop and throw the items on the site.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm gonna pretty much do like a collab post with him and just share his story. Like, cause we all have like a story. Like, we all experience adversity, whether it's in a traumatizing way, dramatic way, any way. And I think it's just great to showcase people's upcomings, you know?
Yeah, that's so cool because like through art, like you can tell such a big story, like crazy story, right? For example, like if you look at some of Virgil's art that he did for Louis, like you can read, there's a story in that. You know, a lot of it's based around like his life and his upcoming and like his bringing. I'm sure like obviously we're not gonna know like exactly what he was thinking, but it's pretty cool because it's like, yeah, like it's one of those things that you can't, like we were talking earlier about like automation and all this stuff, but it's like that's one thing you can't fake. You can't fake like someone's mind and the creativity from that.
100%.
And you can truly see it and feel it when someone talks about it, right? That passion that you saw that people had and you started to, you know, talk more about what you really like to do versus like, you know, what maybe people thought was cool at the time, which was like music and all this sort of different things that, you know, people are more accustomed to. You kind of took a route, I feel like, that most people didn't at the time, you know, because even I got inspired from that in, you know, 2000, whatever this was, 15, 16, like, and I started my clothing brand, right? So it's like, you know, apprehend global, which is like what this.
I was just looking. I thought I had it on for a second.
I
wore it yesterday.
But it's, you know, it's crazy, man, because like it's contagious. You know, like feelings are contagious. You know, that's why like when you're super, you know, depressed and negative, like people around you are most likely not going to be the most uplifted people. But when you're, you know, continuously trying to inspire and have a purpose and are driving towards that purpose each and every day, may not be, you know, the $1 million days, but like at least like, you know, you're doing it, and then that is contagious. And I think that's what the world needs more. It's like people are just so scared to show emotion. They're so scared to be who they want to be. You know, they want to like do something for an image, and it's like that's very hard to fucking keep up, right?
Yeah, when you live in Sacramento and you have the crab in a barrel mindset, it's like completely whack. Like, not many people will support you on your rise and shit like that, but you gotta be. What's that?
I mean, once you make it, they come up to you, be like, oh, you've done this, you've done that, become your friend.
Yeah, so true.
100%. It always switches up. But fuck, I kind of lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Or they'll feel some type of way, you know. It's like someone always wants something from you, but yeah, I don't know. I think, you know, people will always be people, right? Like, we can't change the 8 billion whatever people that there are on this planet, which is crazy, but we can change ourselves, and like that's like what will make the difference, right? Like, we can do what we can do, but if we are like living for other people or living for someone else's approval, it's just gonna be very hard to keep that up at the end of the day, right? Like, you're just gonna continuously be in a cycle of, you know, approving people and, you know, or making sure that they approve you, and then it's just like you get lost in your own head, bro. But I wanted to ask you, because you do have your own clothing brand, right? So you said that bringing on designers is one of those things that you want to do this year. Is there anything else on the horizon before we get into more about your story? Because I want to talk about the brand. Like, the brand is what I feel like a lot of people who watch art from our audience too, because like we're more in like the brand building space and you know, putting e-commerce stores together. But like, what's been like one of the biggest struggles for you so far?
Well, I think the number one thing you need before you get into making clothes is a source of income. You can't just, you can jump into it and get lucky and it just takes off right away. Like originally when I first did it, I was doing extremely well. I had $400 days like for weeks. And I kind of like got out of that when I started making videos with Salim. We started filming prank videos, the entertainment route. And we weren't making money for like maybe like a year and a half. And I really got a true passion for both filming and making clothes. And so, yeah, we chose not to work at McDonald's or anywhere and just ask people for money on the streets, for gas money, just so we can get a bag of chips and just focused on videos, which then eventually we got to NELK. And then that's when we finally got money in our pockets because it's like a huge entertainment company. And yeah, I'd say that is like the number one issue if you don't have finances to fund your brand.
Yeah, I've seen that firsthand too. Like I've wanted to kind of start like a little clothing brand too before. Since that's like what most people want to do when they get into, you know, the drop shipping space. I've wanted to, but it definitely is hard. Like you can't just go and sell stuff off of, you know, Gildan, you know, Gildan clothing. You need to have something like that. You have to put a little bit of money up front to have some nice material.
Yeah, well, in the beginning, I actually did start off selling with Walmart t-shirts. Like I would go to Walmart, get like a windbreaker, t-shirts, hat, whatever it is, jeans, and I'll stamp my logo on there. And it was going stupid because we had a community like.
I bought it.
Yeah, you did.
I was like, fuck it, yeah.
W's in the chat, but I had a small community in high school that grew with me because they seen my passion, like through Snapchat and Instagram, just me showcasing my art and showcasing my clothes. And so they would just continuously buy every day. But then after high school, it's like, what's after that? Like, everyone's moving over here. What you need is a site. And then once you have a site, you need a team, such as like AdWired, to help you turn things up and really level up. Because if you don't, in a situation like me, I travel so much with my work right now that I don't really have time to really sit down and do the back end anymore. Like I used to hand sew everything, press everything. Now I'm working with like manufacturers overseas and in the States to help me with my brand. And I finally found a warehouse that'll ship and handle my stuff, which is like, that was like the biggest issue for me. Because most places you need like to be selling thousands of units to have your inventory there, you know? But for this place I found, luckily in California, you don't have to have any amount of inventory, but just because they know who I am and the people I work with, and they believe like, and they see the vision of what could happen. So I'm grateful for that, but yeah.
Did you always envision that you'll be where you are today when you were back in high school?
100%. Like I genuinely thought it would happen when I was 25, me traveling and being able to explore the world and stuff like that. But I didn't think it would happen it started at 19. And I'm 23 now, just turned 23 in February.
What made you different compared to a regular high school kid? Because I'm being serious. Like, what made you different from them that someone could be doing a different thing, but you chose this route, the entertainment route and the business route?
It's a really good question. I mean,
was it like something that just like, let's say for me, when it came to business for me, it was never my passion. I would never see myself in business. It was something that I worked towards. Like it was just, I felt like it was destiny for me to be in business. But it wasn't like, oh, I finished high school, I'm gonna go get a business degree, business major, go learn marketing. It was all self-taught, but I felt like I was meant for it.
Yeah, I genuinely, speaking for myself, I think it was meant for me. And I mean, school wasn't really for me. I would just be bored. I would cheat on all my tests. And like, I just always been like a creative person, you know?
I was the same.
And I think I have ADHD. Like I never went to the doctor for it, but it's just my mind's just constantly thinking of like new ideas of
entrepreneur mindset.
How to be different, yeah.
That's what an entrepreneur is, always coming up with new ideas, executing new things. Like for me, I feel like I would have ADHD too.
I mean, Elon Musk, I don't know if he has ADHD, but that dude's head is always spinning at 40,000 miles. You know, he can't, you know, he's always,
Every time, like every time I have a conversation with Kazra, it's like, oh, I came up with this new thing, but we can't really do it because we already have our hands in that pie.
Yeah.
Like once again, you can't chase too many things because you want to do that one thing really great before you can move on to the next thing and exit it. So that's why we're like, oh, I have so much ideas in my head that I could execute. I'm like, oh, this idea is it's gonna make me $1 million, but I can't do it.
Yeah, sometimes it's the best thing to do is just focus on one thing, which is why I kind of fell off on making the clothes in the beginning. Like once I found my passion for making films, focused on that, and then now I'm in a position where I can do both.
Yeah.
And then now I'm gonna start doing my own podcast. We already shot our first episode. We haven't figured out the name yet, but it's like when you stay down for the come up, things will happen, and
everything comes together, like flows together.
Just wait your turn.
Yeah. And before we get into it, we have to give you something as well.
Yeah.
You said we know it was your birthday as well, and this is our first time together. So let me get that before we get too much into it.
Okay.
But
yeah, I just turned 23.
Today?
February 8th. Thank you, brother.
Happy birthday.
Appreciate it, bro.
yes, sir, my boy. Happy birthday, and to the fucking continued success, right? To the continued success of your podcast, your brand, from us to you. Don't have to open it now, but yeah, let's have a good fucking time.
Yeah, I don't know. Should I open it? I don't know.
Open it.
Do what you want to do.
Go for it. You'll love it.
Thank you,
I just
bro.
wanted to give it to you before we get too deep into it, because I know we're about to sit down for a while.
B-roll.
Those are for the ladies, man. You and the ladies.
B-roll. Camera, B-roll.
Like on an iPhone or something? I'll wait.
Oh, no. Yeah. This is for later. This is for later.
Later? Okay.
No, I mean,
That's what we talked about
That's for the
earlier.
curvy girl.
Like you remember like the one you're waiting for? Hey, she may see this, but and eventually, like, bring that out when the time comes. One for her, one for you. But there you go. Yeah.
By the way, I had to re-bow tie that because I think the guy messed it up. So I hope it's tied good enough. So
That's fine. That's fine.
Thank you for your
I hope you like it.
You want to come closer? Like right here?
Yeah, get up.
you know.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not really good with surprises, but yeah.
I just wanted to make sure before we fucking jump into the whole pod, right?
Yeah, let's run it. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Little trip.
We thought you would
this
like
is
it. I
dope.
was like, maybe this is his.
Yeah, we were trying to.
Oh, this is a necklace?
Yeah,
It's
little
a-
This is
bagger.
dope, bro. Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Boy.
That's
Hope you like
sick.
it. Happy birthday, my dad.
Appreciate it. I want to throw it on right now.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Thank you guys. Bro.
Dude, yeah, so like
is
kind of
sick.
to what you were saying earlier too, because it's interesting. It's interesting to me, like, because like you yourself, like you've had pretty fucking crazy journey, like, and it's like we all kind of come from that background too. Like, sorry, he'll explain a little bit more where he comes from, but like,
Yeah.
so, seeing kind of what it takes to get this far, like, I guess, like, what do you have to say to like people who don't want to put in that work? Like, for example, right, somebody who may like what you're doing or may want to do what you're doing, and they ask you, like, hey, like, whether it's, they want money, advice, whatever it is, but they're not willing to take that thing to the next level, whatever it is. Like, what do you think about those people who aren't just willing to put in the work? Because, we've talked to some people that are exactly like that every single day.
Well, we were kind of talking about it when we were eating sushi earlier. I had a buddy that we grew up together pretty much from the sandbox. And recently he called my line. He's like, yo, bro, why don't you follow me? First of all, I was like shooting a podcast. I'm not on my phone paying attention to like who's following me, who's messaging me. And it kind of threw me off because he hit me saying that, and he's like expecting something from me. Like, it's tricky. It's just me. Yeah, that situation threw me off.
The
Yeah,
relationship. You didn't want to ruin that relationship because of what you guys had in the past.
Yeah,
Over that simple thing.
It just seems like he kind of came at me in this way because he sees the situation that I'm in and that I'm evolving constantly. He's kind of like in the same situation. No offense, but it's like I want the best for him, like, and I originally thought he wanted the best for me, but seem like his intentions are kind of like in a
Sway
More for him.
Like even in my come up, like I wouldn't say I would say I come from nothing. Like when my parents, like we came from Afghanistan, flew to Australia, lived there. That's where actually my parents legit bought their first house from starting from zero. So that's where my respect comes from them, and the amount of work they put in that legit gave me the reason to do better in my life, because I wanted to give back to them.
Yeah.
Because they've done so much for me, and I'm just like,
respectfully.
I don't want them to go through that effort of like having to work basically long hours just to feed us. So that was my reason. I was like, my dad was sick, my mom was feeling like burnt out from working all day. So I was like, no, this is like my time and my brother's time to like get out there and actually make shit happen. Because if I was to let them do that, they were legit gonna have the hardest life. So it's my reason to actually go out there and make it happen. And what I had to do, I had to sacrifice friends, parties, going those things. Like ever since 2020, there was legit, all my friends, I legit cut them all off. Like going out, this and that, I had to cut everything up to get to where I want to be. If I was to go out every weekend, some of my friends, they would message me like, hey bro, what's happening? Like you don't even hit me up anymore, you don't go out. I'm like, the reason why I don't go out is because that's not my vibe anymore. Like I've experienced it, it's not my experience anymore. Like I don't want to go to a club, stand in a bar with a drink in my hand, just watch the same people do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, it's just repetitive.
It's repetitive stuff, and it's not gonna move the needle for you in your life.
You can't get to where you need to be when you're doing all that stupid stuff.
And it holds you back. It holds you back. Let's say you're drinking alcohol, you're smoking weed every weekend. You're gonna be hungover on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and your week will start on a Wednesday. You've lost 72 hours.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of something you do when you made it, and I honestly can't respect anyone who's like extremely lazy. We all have lazy tendencies, but at the same time, we still put work in,
You can enjoy
and we're not
yourself.
expecting anything from anyone.
You can go out there and enjoy yourself, but you got to do it at the right
Moderately.
time.
10% of the time needs to be you enjoying yourself. The 99% of the time, you know, there's a small percent that you can reserve to that.
Yeah, like I'm not saying like don't go and just be at home, work 24/7. Like have the balance.
No, you can't be
But
a
don't
robot.
overdo it.
You can't be an NPC.
overdo it. Like for me, my friends would go out every weekend, and I'd get a message, hey bro, want to go out to this place?
Yeah,
I would just not even bother opening up that message, because it's just not point of it. I'm just going to lose more time, especially when you have so much projects you're working on, and you have deadlines to meet clients to actually deliver for. And if you don't deliver that, your career is on the line.
Yeah.
I get messages every weekend. Yeah, hey, let's go outside, or let's go out, let's go to the bar, let's go.
Dude, the only people I go out these days with is my business partners or my family.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to be around people who aren't benefiting you, like mentally, financially, or in any way. Like it's like pretty much useless.
Draining. Like it drains me. That's kind of like going back to my question. It's like, what do you do to those people who drain you? You know, because it's like you have a personal brand, a huge personal brand. Like we're sort of scratching the surface with it, where it's like, you know, we're not obviously like on these huge channels, but you know, we have people who watch us. But it's like, I feel like the attention grab that most people try to get, like they don't understand why that's not possible. And it's like, you only really understand, in my opinion, once you've been in the position, because, you know, obviously we've all had to grow to where we're at. But when you get to that point, then you realize like, wow, like people really do want more of my time. Like I can't give this out. Like if I give this attention, number one, if I give my time out, I'm gonna lose my attention, right? Like you guys know like how hard it is to gain your attention back, even just looking at your phone for 2-3 seconds.
Yeah, you go on TikTok and then you end up on YouTube, you're over here. You're trying to watch a 20-minute video, you get a message from your friend, you're distracted. It's so easy to be distracted nowadays.
Like there is so many ways you can stop it. Like for me, it's like in the morning, like I was so used to just waking up, having my phone next to me, and I'll just go on it, waste 2 hours of my morning.
Wow, yeah.
But you gotta have new routines in place. Like before I go to bed now, at home, if I'm not on a holiday, my room is legit in the kitchen. That way I'm not bothered to get up in the morning and go on my phone straight away. It's in a different room. I can't be fucked getting up to go there. I just go straight to my desktop and just start working, because you gotta get rid of the triggers.
Yeah.
So you gotta replace the triggers with like healthy habits.
So I have a problem with that too. I'll wake up every morning, I'll hop right on my phone. I do it every morning. I'll hop on, I'll go on Instagram, I'll scroll. But in the back of my head, I know like, dude, you gotta stop doing that. And Will behind the camera here, I know he's always, we were business partners. That's how we started our companies together. And then I met all you guys. But every night I'd be texting him at like 9 p.m. but he would never answer me because his phone was out in the kitchen. He'd be going to bed at 9 p.m. and he always has like a good schedule. So yeah, that's definitely like a thing that's good.
Yeah, you gotta make things easier for yourself. Like, if I don't see something in front of me, it's not gonna make me want to go for it. Like, the way people are like, oh, I can't quit smoking, I can't quit drinking. Like, dude, you're putting yourself in that environment to go drink. Your friends are alcoholics. You gotta remove those friends out of your life. That's the only way you can get rid of it, because they're in your environment.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only way you could quit smoking or cigarettes or any sort of things, because if you're around it, you're gonna more likely be influenced to do more.
I agree.
It's hard. You have to have
Discipline.
insane discipline.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just flip a switch and do it sometimes. I mean, some people can. Like, I can flip a switch and like I used to vape and stuff. I don't vape anymore. I had vape before and I actually flipped the switch on that. I was just like, bro, I can't do that anymore. That's horrible for you.
Was it affecting your mental health like in any way?
No, I don't think it was at all. But it's just like I'm vaping. Like, this was like back like 3 years ago maybe.
Got you.
And I'm just like, dude, I'm just inhaling this in my lungs, and it's just.
You're just thinking about the
not
long
good for
term. The long term.
I'm just like, dude, I'm just done. And I literally just. I know it's hard for people to stop smoking or stop like bad habits, but I literally just.
That's
no
crazy.
more.
You just went cold turkey.
Cold turkey.
That's impressive.
And I did the same thing with medication I was on as well. I was on for my anxiety. Cold turkey that as well. I don't know how I do it. It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts your brain too.
Oh,
when you cold
100%.
turkey
I can only imagine.
It's the brain zaps. It's like really bad, but I've
you have withdrawals and stuff like that too.
Yeah, I've thought about my well-being, and I'm just like, I can't be doing this anymore. Now I'm on like some more holistic, natural remedies, just like more vitamins and stuff like that to help with it, and it has helped out a lot. And I just think for anyone out there, like if you have problems and you're taking medication, that's just a mask. That's not getting to the root of the real problem.
You think it's more like a placebo?
It is a placebo. Maybe actually will help because it actually alters your chemistry in your brain, but it's not getting down to the real root of the problem. The real root of the problem could be, I'm not a doctor, but there's some other things. Like my doctor told me, like it's like one of the reasons why I have like lactic acid build up in my body or something like that. So he gave me something to help with that. That could be placebo too, but I mean, I think taking natural remedies to help with like stuff like that is a lot better than, masking it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And Kazra, I see you've been on your health grind lately.
Yeah, bro. Well, it's because just like, Nate just explained, like there's so many things that we've been through. Like I personally had literally the same experience as him, like with vaping, where it was like maybe like a year and a half, 2 years, like every single day probably I would vape. And it just got to the point where it became so taxing on my body and my mental health that I had to stop, because I noticed that not only like I felt different, but like I thought different. Like I would want to vape every single minute of the day. Yeah.
You'd wake up in the morning and you'd be like,
yeah, where is this thing? And it's like, what is the, every negative thing has a equal and adverse positive, right? So vaping and destroying your body, what's the other side? Building your body, becoming the most adaptable version of yourself, being able to put yourself into any situation, right?
Yeah.
You look at a lot of these guys, and we may go off topic here, but the reason why they're so and so submissive to women is because they're not a man themselves. Like they don't have, like, you know what I mean? Like they would, obviously cover my expenses. I would go to school.
I mean, that's an amazing feeling.
That's an amazing feeling. But then like when you have to do that for yourself, these questions start to come up, or of self-doubt, of self-worth, where it's like, wow, like I had this great life and now I'm just like destroying it. Like,
and it's so easy to go back. Like just thinking about it, you're like,
it's a down the street now, bro. Like
I can go back.
It's 7-Eleven around the corner. That's especially with a lot of these drugs now, they make it so common. Like pharmaceuticals, they're like, oh yeah, this is totally fine for you. Who's telling me that? A guy that I just met with for 20 minutes. And he read a book 20 years ago that tells him this. Like, bro, no, like that doesn't make sense. I have to go do it for myself. So that is the reason why I started running a lot more 2 years ago now. I'm lifting a lot more, because I started to realize, like, wow, when I do this, yeah, the first 12, 14 days sucked, but like after the first 60, 90 days, like I was like, wow, this actually, like I was telling them, we were walking by the sauna the other day, I'm like, bro, I want to go in there. Like I want to just go sit in there, because like I love it. Like it's something that like my body wants. So yeah, like you have to make a positive out of the situation. Like a lot of people who see this or like listen to this, you may not understand it now if like you have an addiction, even if it's, you can say it's a good addiction, like, you have to be able to moderate it. You have to moderate it or just cut it out cold turkey. But
I agree.
I would 100% recommend the cold turkey thing. That's what I personally did too with the vaping. the other stuff that I was doing, like the hard drugs, like that stuff, bro, like once you quit it and you show yourself that you can do it, you'll never have to do it again. You'll never have to go through those pains of withdrawals, because even if you did for some odd reason, you know, smoke something or do something, you're not gonna want to do it again. Because you know in the back of your head, like that muscle memory, it's kind of like when I tore my ACL, each time I jump from skis or from something like, you know, whatever it is, I kind of have that scar tissue of, oh fuck, like it's gonna like snap again.
Exactly.
But like you have to be able to teach yourself that that's not true. Like, you know, you have the ability to do it right this time.
I think the best way to cope with that is to replace whatever you're trying to do that's negative with like a physical activity, like playing basketball, soccer, training MMA, something like that. Like it'll completely change your mindset. Like doing something, a physical activity can replace that. Going to the beach, reading a book.
I mean, even physical activities are like the best things for your mental health as well. Especially if you give yourself 60 days, just work on your body, work on your mind, and actually your own personal education, you'll see like the difference in how far you can go. Because a lot of people would come into this space and do it for 2 weeks or not even a week, 7 days.
Easy.
And they'll be like, oh, I don't feel this happening, because it's not gonna happen overnight.
No.
You gotta stick with the routine and actually try it for like 60 days, 90 days, and actually a whole year.
Yeah.
And then you'll see it compounding over time, because you don't want to do something like, it's not gonna happen overnight. Like, it's legit not gonna happen overnight. All these successful people, like, the way they've made it to the top is because the work they put in.
Yeah.
The amount of hours they put in, like, it's just not gonna be at the front. Or some people might get lucky with it, like, be like, oh, lucky, one viral hit. But what are they doing after it? They'll probably ruin it. Like, do you have any stories of someone that's made it to the top and they just flopped down?
Well, yeah, some people I've seen in like the entertainment had like the easiest positions and absolutely ruined it by dealing with certain women that held them back and didn't want them to like elevate in their career, and like they're not doing anything with their lives now. And like,
would you say that's got something to do with the habit, or just solely on the person that was controlling them?
I say it's more on yourself, honestly.
I mean, you gotta be more masculine.
Yeah. It's very easy. I mean,
like we were talking about before, I can never let a woman control me.
Yeah.
I can't.
Not in any way, not in any sort of form. Like, I would never let a girl be like, oh, you can't go out to dinner with the boys, you can't do this, you can't do that. I'm like,
never
am I gonna allow that. Unless it's something I'm doing wrong, I'll take accountability for, like, yo, this is wrong, I shouldn't do it. I'll feel it within me, I'm like, oh, fair enough, I shouldn't do it. But I would never let a woman control me and hold me back from where I want to be, because why would you allow that to happen to you? Like,
I mean, look at the situation that you guys are in right now. Like, you didn't allow anybody to control you then. Why would you do that now?
Dude,
it's the same as that.
I have a funny story. Some girl I used to see back in those days, like, the reason why I got into business, because one time we were talking about careers and stuff, and then the parents were asking me, what are you doing for a job? What do you want to do in the future?
Interrogating you and shit.
No, this was the question.
Dinner table stuff.
And then I was like, this wasn't even on over the phone or anything, or in person. Like, she was just genuinely asking me, like, my mom was asking me what you do for a living.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm studying to be a real estate agent, because that's where I was gonna go towards. And then she was like, she came back to me and goes, that's a brokey job. So
didn't even give you any credit.
Nothing. I was just like, oh, at least I'm trying to do something with it, you know? It wasn't like I was only, I'd say 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was their job? Did you already mention that?
Dude, she was legit working at a chemist.
A chemist?
Yeah.
No, I guess chemist.
She's a wage. She's a wage.
No, like a retail chemist. Like, it wasn't like
Oh, wow.
Rite Aid?
Yeah, but the thing was, I was like, the reason I was going to
Pharmacist.
He's a chemist.
I mean, no. I think that
we call it chemist in Australia. Yeah. So,
yeah.
The reason she was like, oh, you're working in real estate. My mom said it's a brokerage. I don't think I could be with you.
That's horrible.
And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, you're not with me because of me. You're with me because of my occupation.
That kind of gave you a chip on the shoulder.
Yeah, that's just like, oh, wow, I need to prove this bitch wrong. Like, I need to get my shit together.
Yeah, but you got it up, though. And that's the thing. Like, it's those motivating stories, right?
Dude, like, I was just sometimes I'd sit there, I'm like, wow, I can't believe she just said that to me. Like, I was embarrassed.
That's bad.
I was like, wow, this is something I want to do. I'm passionate about it. I once I was really passionate about real estate. I was like, I'd always see like these real estate agents, like, okay, these guys are making serious amount of money,
right?
And they're enjoying what they're doing because it's in sales, and that was something I was passionate about. But at the same time, I was like, okay, she just fucking one-upped me there, so.
No, he's that chip on the shoulder.
Yeah, it could either make or break you, honestly.
Yeah.
Dealing with women, it could literally.
It legit brings down your self-confidence as well.
That's why you just gotta like not. And when you, I don't know, I'm just not trying to deal with any woman personally.
If
right
they're not
now.
benefiting you mentally, bro, like you gotta drop them.
Yeah.
You gotta drop them, and it's easy to stick to something that you're not like really okay with, if like that's your only option, and like, you know, if you're not in a situation where you can deal with.
Like a woman holds your name, reputation. So if you want mud thrown at your name, if you want to be known as that guy,
She'll
she'll ruin your name. Like that's a big thing. I could never let a woman ruin my reputation after that.
Bro,
experience.
just look at what the Tates right now. Like, they're asking all these girls, like, what happened? Like, how was this experience? And they have nothing bad to say. They can't say anything because even if they did, they'd be lying. And the ones that are lying, the truth always comes out at the end of the day. Like, whether it's now or it's at the the judgment day, whatever. Like, the truth will come out. So like, you could lie all you want, but like, if you truly know yourself that, like we were talking about earlier, like these fake flexors, right? These guys who are wearing these fake watches and things. It's like, how do you sleep at night? Like, I just don't understand how you could go to sleep and be like, wow, like I'm this fucking person. Like, you're not.
Yeah. I mean, you're flexing something you've never made yet. If you could make it, you wouldn't need to go buy a fake watch. And the thing is, most of these people that have these fake watches, they're trying to sell you on something.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I've already made it in life. No, you haven't, because you're wearing fake stuff.
And typically a person who's got it, you don't really gotta brag and say you got it.
Yeah.
But someone who's don't got it, they be flexing like, I got it. You see the whip right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we know a lot of people in the space that are doing that, but
that's everyone in LA.
yeah, like
There's a lot of people that make money in unethical ways as well that are flexing that money, and
we'll get into that in a little bit. There's a lot of those guys that we know. But dude, I want to ask you too, Jordan, because you guys just came back from Russia, right?
Yeah, we got back from Russia like a month ago.
Dude, how was that?
Honestly, it's life-changing mentally. Like, when I came back from Russia, like, I literally took all my stress away, and I'm like, I'm not complaining about shit ever again, just because, like, these people actually have to work to live through their life. Like, sometimes we're in a position now to where you can kind of choose and do what you want to do, and you're complaining about little things. Like,
what made you want to be grateful for? Like, what did you see?
I mean, people actually respecting each other, the camaraderie, it's just different out there. Like, it's very brotherly, and we were training with like the top UFC fighter of all time right now. I mean, Habib's not in anymore, so it's like, and like, I forget what
I saw you
Go ahead.
wrestling with Islam.
Yeah,
How was that?
Yeah, Islam, he's like at the top right now.
Yeah.
And it was just honestly awesome. And when I was out there, it wasn't like the clout that I have like with NELK. It was just honestly because I was black. Like, people looked at me like I was a god. Like, because there's not a lot of black people out there.
I saw you guys training up in the mountain. How was that? Did you make it out, or?
Honestly, they ran like 20 miles. I was only able to run like 3 miles, and I was tapped out.
That was funny when you guys got in the car and drove to like say you like.
Did you feel like a bitch?
Yeah.
Did you feel like a bitch, like having to slow down at 3 miles?
Yeah, but
going?
these guys do that on a regular basis. You know, it's like riding a bike for them.
Dude, yeah. Fuck.
Their stamina is crazy, but
To get back to what you were saying about the camaraderie or whatever that's out there, it's like totally different. I remember like I was watching one of the video you guys posted, and I forgot the guy's name, but the dude who loved the tea.
yeah, Monsieur.
Monsieur.
So grateful, bro.
Yeah, he was so grateful, and it was like crazy. Like, you guys gave him, a car to have, and he said he'd never driven before or something. I don't know.
He hasn't driven in like years, and that's his first time trying to drive a car in a very long time. He's like going back and forth through a bus, like packed with 15, 17 people in there every day, just to provide for his 2 kids and wife.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
like
a touching story.
I love seeing the hard work ethic of people. I love that.
That was really nice.
To go back on what I said earlier, and I said this in the last podcast too, like to like be able to be in a situation where you can, make a good amount of money, to be able to like help people like that. It's just like so fulfilling.
It makes you feel better as well in the inside that you're able to give. Like, whenever you give, God's gonna give you more.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree with that.
That's the way it is. Like I've never seen someone that gives more doesn't get anything out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, but you shouldn't do it with the expectation.
Expectation.
Like, yeah,
No,
like,
no.
I'm
Never.
like I'm gonna give you something and expect something in return. That shouldn't be the way. You should be like, give with a good heart
Goodwill.
and goodwill, because that's the only way God will reward you.
You just gotta do it without
Yeah.
thinking about it. You
Exactly.
Can't, you can't be like, like you just
Like
said, you can't be
yesterday-
like, oh, I'm gonna give this guy
Yeah.
$5 and
Yeah.
I'm gonna get
Yeah.
$1 million in return.
Like,
Yeah, there you
you
go.
know what it is? You know what
People
it is?
think like that.
Yeah, like yesterday we saw a homeless guy on the side. A lot of people, when they give money to homeless people, they got the cameras out. Oh, here, I give $5.
Yeah.
Dude, we just like put the window down and gave him the money. I just felt so good from the inside. I was like, wow, this guy needs it.
Yeah,
Because
100%.
in LA,
It may not have been $500, but it was
Yeah.
something he can go eat with.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
exactly like even 2 nights before it, we seen a
Homeless
That was
person.
crazy.
We saw a homeless person.
Right.
Or homeless person get robbed by just some guy walking the street in Beverly Hills, and we're like, dude, what the fuck? So like we chase him like down 2-3 streets.
Yeah.
And we're like, bro, go give it back. Like, what the fuck? Like, don't do that. Like, what are you doing? And honestly, like, it was dangerous for us to do, but like at the same time, like it was just like crazy to see. Like we're just at a stoplight. This guy's like whatever he's doing, thinking he sees his backpack, grabs it. Now this homeless lady who's just like waking up. She's like, what the hell? Where's my stuff? So he returns it, and then we give him some money.
Yeah.
But it's like people will do anything. Like we gave him $50, $100, but like it's everything to him. He's like, wow, thank you
100%.
so much. He didn't even know it was in that bag. So it's like
100%.
he just
He gave
risked
the
his
backpack.
Yeah, he just risked. You know, he didn't know who that person was, but it's like. Yeah, it's a terrible world, man. But it's like
It
you know
is.
when you can contribute to it in your way, you know there isn't anybody watching you, there isn't anybody telling you what to do. I live for that. Like you said, like it's one of those things that we continually work towards every day because it's like, yeah, we got to make sure that obviously we're all eating and like things are going good. But when we do have that opportunity, like one of the most fulfilling things for me in these last couple of years, honestly, probably the biggest thing has been working with the Dream Machine Foundation, because what Charlie and them do is that they're completely selfless in and of themselves,
Right.
that they've come together and built this foundation, which is honestly not easy to do. Like it's very hard to run a foundation, legally, all this stuff, but it's like
100%.
they put all of their effort, all their time into going from Kentucky to Miami to California to all these places and just making sure that other people are good before them. And it's like, I think, and Charlie said this too the other day, I just saw it on his TikTok, I was scrolling, like,
Right.
he was like, it doesn't mean anything for me to give you my experience, like he's talking on the stage, like it doesn't give any meaning at all for me to come up here and lie to you. Be like, oh, I'm this great person, oh, I've done this, I've done that, you know. He came up there and really was like, I'm struggling, I'm going through things myself, and that's the most relatable thing. It's like when you see that person who may not have as much as you or may not be in the same position as you, it's like at the end of the day, we're both human. You know, we both woke up today at some time and saw the same sun. We saw the same stars last night. But it's like, we have to be there for each other. If we're not there for each other and pulling people out of situations that, you know, that they may not think they can get out of, they may never get out of it. And it's like, obviously don't put that on yourself, but like try to put that into the world. You know,
I'm a firm believer with that, brother. Like, that's honestly why I think I'm in the situation I'm in today, is because I would always give, whether it's filming, whether it's helping someone make clothes, anything. Like, I would do it for the least amount or even free for anyone. Like, I'm just extremely passionate about filming to where, like, for example, with Salim and I, like my great friend Salim, I filmed his videos for 2 years. We weren't making anything.
Yeah.
And I dropped making clothes to do this. And now we're both in a position to where he doesn't even have to pay me back financially. We work for NELK. So like NELK pays me, and we're still working together as a unit, as a whole ecosystem. And it's just amazing that like I didn't even have to get a dime from him or anything like that. Just from literally off the strength of just giving and enjoying, being passionate about what I was doing.
Yeah, my first ever clip I saw of Salim was when he was in the aisles or in school. He just go and make those funny noises.
Yeah.
What made you guys get into that space? That's crazy.
I don't know what made him think of doing the moaning in people's ears, but to this day, people still come up to him and try to moan in his ear. It's ridiculous.
Salim's ear?
Yeah.
They want to like.
I see these videos to this day, so I mean, it's like, it's comedy, like it's good stuff.
Dude,
like it's funny when people get mad.
The one I'm thinking of one right now is kind of funny. The one that one guy, the old guy or something, he like did it and then he went, "Who are you?"
Yeah. You get some crazy reactions when you're filming.
What's been the craziest reaction that you guys got?
That's a good question, yeah.
Oh, I think we're in Oregon and we were doing like a bowling video,
Oh wow.
So the boys, they dressed up in like bowling outfits, pretending to be like a bowling
clerk,
team.
yeah. Oh,
A bowling team.
I see.
And when people are in actual bowling teams, they take it very serious. It's like, don't fuck with them at all. And they went in there and crashed it, threw their balls in there, because they're betting money for like their games. And so the boys are just crashing their stuff. And someone actually chased us outside with a gun. And like we were dipping out and skirted. Like that was one of the craziest things. But early on, I'd say the funniest one was when they did like a fake sneezing prank. They had like a water bottle behind their back.
During COVID?
During COVID.
Oh no.
When like this, the water bottle's right behind your back and you, and then you put it behind, make it seem like it wasn't you. And you're like, what the fuck are you doing, you know?
Yeah, especially during COVID, that is
During
crazy.
COVID, that's one of the most savage things you can do.
Yeah.
Everyone's paranoid, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
Dude,
I might have seen that.
Yeah.
Was it on a video?
Yeah, it was on like Instagram and on YouTube.
Yeah, I remember that.
I know you guys film with a lot of celebrities. I saw the one with Hezbollah, that was funny as, but
Yeah, in Russia.
in Russia, yeah, which has been like the best celebrity that you connected with?
Well, I wouldn't say anyone in particular, but Hezbollah was definitely a cute
fun-
motherfucker.
He's funny. I was just laughing when he's driving and stuff, and he's doing like all these noises.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking funny.
Yeah.
And he makes you laugh as well because the
Yeah.
way he speaks.
Such a lovable guy.
He's a lovely guy.
He's a good guy.
He's our age, right?
Yeah, I think he's 19.
Oh shit, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. That's dope, man. Yeah, it's so crazy seeing how other people live, especially, bro, like when you get to go somewhere where most people just aren't welcome.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it just shows you like what the power of like camaraderie can do, right? Because like, just because like, you know, obviously there's more to it, but it's like, you guys being there, them being there, like that just allowed that to happen. And it's like,
100%.
if we can do more of that in the world, you know, like we'll all like be able to connect with more people, I feel like. And it's like, yeah, it's cool that just you're able to see how other people live, but then like also like the people where it's like, usually you wouldn't get their side of the story, right? Because they may just be like a personality, they may just be like whatever it is to the camera, but they're real people too, right?
100%.
And it's like they have real lives, and it's just, it's fucking amazing to see. But dude, yeah, like what are you looking forward to now that, you know, you got more of a solid idea this year of what you're doing with the brand, right? Because we talked in like almost 6 months ago now of like how this was all going to come about, but it seems like you're pushing it more now, right?
Yeah, I honestly just want to continuously work with small and huge artists down the line on documenting like their whole process of what they're doing in their life, where they're currently at. Kind of like what we're doing now.
Sure, yeah.
Not in a podcast type of form, but just like documentary
Street
style.
interviews. Oh yeah.
Vlog.
Street interview style, like make it into shorts, little TikToks and stuff like that. And collaborate with them. Like say for example, if there's an artist that I like who does like shows, like there's this one guy named Party Alone. He's like an up and coming artist. I think he's like the next Juice WRLD.
Yeah.
And like I would love to do tour merch for him and other artists like that down the line.
Just putting your brush wherever it can go. You
Yeah.
know? Because I remember you used to always carry the fucking brush in your ear. and
Yeah, I
your
would
hair,
carry paintbrushes in high school. And
This is the girls love artists, man. It's the real deal. Yeah.
because the thing is, like, people aren't necessarily buying just the clothes. They're also buying from you, the personality behind it.
Yeah.
That's one thing I noticed. Like,
Yeah, a lot of people get into like that clothing business and they fail. First things first, they don't create the demand and they don't build a brand identity. That's like the most important thing, because when you buy, let's say from a big brand like Gymshark or Nike,
it's niche.
It's niche, yeah. You're buying it because of the feeling you're gonna get when you wear it.
Yeah.
I feel like an athlete when I wear Nike, or when I wear Gymshark, I feel like my gym confidence just goes up.
Yeah.
That's why I buy it. Like a lot of people go just create random gym brands, this and that, and it doesn't be success. It's not successful.
Yeah.
But they just don't hit those marks. Like the identity isn't there.
People resonate more with
Story.
the story, honestly.
Like when you like the marketing of Nike. Like when you see a Nike ad, they never showcase the product. They showcase the feeling.
Yeah. The meaning of their brand is just do it. So
Just
like,
do it. Yeah.
They showcase who's wearing it. They showcase LeBron. They showcase Kobe.
the greatest people are wearing. So it makes sense. It adds up. So you're gonna purchase it, you know.
Exactly. So that's the main thing you should do when you're like building a brand. Build the identity. Like, why should people buy from me? Like, what am I creating in the space? Like for yours is like being a great artist. Like showcasing your art. Like it's coming from you. You're the creator.
100%.
Or the other artist could be the creator, and you're just printing it onto the shirts. Like that's your style. That's the unique thing that you could do.
Exactly.
And you just add the filling on top of that. Like when you
The filling as far as the quality.
It's like let's say you buy a Mona Lisa art, you put it on your wall. Like you could have art on your shirt. Right.
That's why it's so hard, man. Clothing brands.
It is a very competitive.
It's overly saturated. Everyone has one. Everyone's doing music. Everyone's doing pretty much everything. But it's how can you make yourself different and stand out in a room full of sharks, you know? But at the same time, on top of that, people will fall off. Like after doing it for like 2 or 3 months, they'll give up because.
But another thing you could done, another way of creating like a really good brand is by having a personal brand. Let's say KSI or Logan Paul. How is Prime the biggest drinking company in the whole world?
Because they're personal brands.
The audience they have is insane. Like they wouldn't be able to do those type of numbers if it wasn't for like the audience that they already accumulated in the past couple of years. So if you can build an audience, and those audience are very loyal to you, you can kick off anything.
100%.
So audience is a massive thing, and it's hard to get.
It's
hard
easy.
to get if you're not putting value out there. People love value, and in exchange for value, you can get that audience. Like the reason why so many of our mentors, like the reason why I even interacted with them is they dropped so much value in first, before I was a customer.
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, Logan Paul and KSI with Prime, and then the NELK boys doing Happy Dad.
Yeah.
Even guys in our space, Mr. Beast, but guys in our space, if you guys know Kill Crew, right?
Yeah.
The reason why Kill Crew is so successful, and you may not know Kill.
I've been seeing them all over.
Yeah, those guys are like guys in our circle. So like we know people who know them, and it's just like it's interesting because it's like they were like behind the scenes like us at one point. But when COVID hit, they put themselves out there, and when they put themselves out there, that comes to it, right? Yeah. The life that they live, people want to live that as well.
That's the same thing with NELK. Like as soon as COVID hit, started traveling to all the places that didn't have COVID, like Florida, everywhere where COVID didn't exist. And that's one thing I admire the most about Kyle is like he's resilient and he doesn't give a fuck about anything, what anyone has to say, and he'll just do it if it makes sense for the brand. And
he understands that the company's bigger than just him. And that's something that for me, like when we were growing our team 2 years ago, I was like kind of like finding myself like stepping into the process too much. Like, someone's asking a question and I would just answer it before another of my team members would answer it for me. You know what I mean? Like allowing them to shine. And I think like that's a big thing. Like we're going through this book right now that's called Traction. It's a really good book for like building a business, and like it talks about like how the company is just bigger than you yourself, the founders. It's more than that. It's the product you sell, it's the people, it's your customers, it's
100%.
all this stuff that like you can only grow once you kind of like remove yourself from that so much, right?
100%.
Your reputation is on the line basically. So if your company is so important, because if your reputation is really bad, no one's gonna buy from you.
Yeah.
Like you always have to take care of the people you work with, especially your staff, because your staff is what moves the needle. And you gotta trust like your team. If you don't trust your team, you're just gonna have a really bad company.
I agree with that.
Your people is just as important as the company.
Yeah.
So you gotta work with great people.
I agree. And if you're not already great and you're trying to become great, you should be completely transparent with your team so they can be aware of what's going on. Otherwise, you're just gonna be having people assuming the worst about you, and then
that's why we turned down so many partnerships, because they just weren't so transparent with us. Like people would be like, oh, I have this opportunity, we can make X amount of money in this X amount of space. And then after a couple of days later, when I spoke to him one-on-one, he missed out a lot of details in the first initial call. So
got you.
So I was like, dude, if you want to get in a partnership, especially in business, you have to be transparent with everything you discuss, because how can I trust you in the long run? Because I don't want to get in bed with someone that's basically tells me a little bit, but he's missing out the big parts. Like, yo, I'm going to sign this contract, but you're telling me about these things later?
Right.
It's like...
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't correlate. Like, you're not secretive.
Yeah,
you know?
and I haven't really like done anything where it's like I wouldn't want to talk about it,
Yeah, if you guys are seeing this, Will just hopped in. He's one of our co-founders of Business Builders, so it's funny that we said that switch. But we're just talking about love life and, how to balance it, because out of everyone here, Will's the only one in a committed relationship. So we want to hear from you kind of how that's been since you started your business as well, because you guys just had a pretty big, last year as well too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been great, very supportive. And like we were talking earlier, this trip will be about 3 weeks, and like I haven't seen her in 3 weeks, but like I know I have that support, and it's just it's really motivational to me because like when we're here, it's like I'm not thinking about girls at all. I'm just like, I know I got something good to return to.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No.
So
Respect.
I can like focus all on like things that we should get done.
Yeah.
I don't have like any distractions.
Yeah.
No.
I feel like that's what you should always look for in a girl before you even decide to date her. Does she support me? Does she take care of me? Not like she's gonna be babysit you. Like, does she take care of you like mentally and like always be there for you? Because that's a lot of thing a woman these days doesn't do. Like, they're just there either for your money or they're just there to like have fun or be a fling, you know. But yeah, it's great that you have someone that supports you throughout your career. I feel like that legit will help you push further.
Absolutely.
Because
If you have the right one,
if
which
you have the
Yeah,
right
right.
one,
100%.
yeah.
You know, there's builders and destroyers, and it's
Yeah.
like you gotta match up with a builder,
Yeah.
like someone who's gonna get you to that next
lot
level, and
of-
vice versa.
Yeah.
Because you never want to end up with someone that's gonna like drag you down.
Yeah,
It's like it's really obvious.
a lot of
Yeah.
women could destroy your career. Like Jay said to me before, he goes, "There's a lot of people in this space that will legit use you for your money and actually bring you down." Like your friend,
100%.
that happened to him, and you don't want to be a victim of that.
Yeah, how I look at a woman, if I ever would get into a relationship, is, you know, a post, how it stands up like this. I mean, that's self-explanatory. You don't want to fold on you, you know.
You don't want to. You don't want to basically be bent.
Yeah.
You don't want to live in the building that has a weak foundation. If the foundation is weak, no matter if it's a wind today or a storm tomorrow, when the tornado comes, it's gonna fall on itself, right? And it's like you just wasted all that time. So it's like I see it as, you know, because I haven't been through, you know, a super long committed relationship, maybe like, you know, 2 months at most. But like I see it as like seeing my parents. I see it as my.
That's not a relationship.
That's a fling. That's a fling. But I see it through actual relationships. Like
That's
my
called a brief
parents-
stint.
That's called an intermission. But dude, so like I see it,
That's a 30-day trial.
30-day and then the rebo when it went through. I was like, no.
That's called, you know, when you get a new iPhone and you gotta unlock it and you're setting up the iPhone.
I was like, oh no, like, I get no Wi-Fi. I gotta go. Like,
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why can't you get in a committed relationship? Like, is there something holding you back from having a partner, or
no, I think what it is.
it's just not in the books?
I think, yeah, it just hasn't been on my focus because I've been focused over these last 4 years just building these companies. You know, if I take even 2-3 days out, which I've done before in these last couple of years, like I've taken weekends out to go chill with girls and, you know, treat them nice. But I mean, like for me, it's like, you know, if I take my complete focus right now out of leading this ship, I'm just going to feel irresponsible at the end of the day. But I do see, again, like what I was going to say is like, I see my parents, I see my grandparents, you know, I see the relationships that they have, and that's what I strive for. That's what I'm looking for. And if that's not the situation I'm going to put myself in, I'm not going to put myself in it. Because like we were talking about earlier, like you see what the kind of an unfortunate environment that we live in, where it is a thing of status, it's a thing of chasing the dollar, it's a thing of how much do you make, you know, and it's like, why can't it just be like, what do I care about? You know, like why can't it just be like, what do I feel like today? Like, why can't we just talk about that? Why does it always have to be about this big blown up thing that honestly, like I don't even want to talk about? Like I don't even want to give you my problems as like a girl. If you're gonna be with me and you're gonna be my woman, I can't give you my problems
100%
because
no.
it's gonna
can't do
ruin
that.
our relationship. You know, and I've ruined relationships like that where, you know, I bring too much of the work in, or for example, I'm, you know, jumping around too much. I'm not being serious about it. So like I understand like what it actually takes. But it's like, I mean, I haven't done it, but like I understand what it takes, and it's just, I know I'm not ready for that yet, so I wouldn't put somebody else in that situation, let alone myself. So, yeah, and I know you guys are in unique situations as well, so it's like, it's fun to see, because it's like, yeah, like my business partner, you know, Gage has a girlfriend as well, and like, I see him still exceeding at things he does. It may not be to the level that I want to do things, but I still understand the reason why it's there, you know, the reason why people do it. It's just like for me at this current moment in my life, it's not the case. But you know, 25, 26, let some stuff go down. Let me mature. Let's mature a little bit more at some point.
I feel like it's good to have a balance. Like it's good to like have work at the same time, switch off and go to your day-to-day life.
I see. Yeah.
Just so you can switch your brain off. You don't want to be too. That's the quickest way to burn out.
Yeah.
Like I've been through that. I've burnt myself out so much. Like I used to work probably such long hours, 8 p.m., 4 a.m., 4 a.m., 8 p.m. Like it was just a cycle. But then I felt myself burn out. I didn't spend time with my family, my friends, or even my girlfriend. I wouldn't get time for that.
Yeah.
Just because I was just focusing on like chasing money, which I was like, I'm chasing it so much that I'm not gonna have enough. Like I'll always chase the next thing. But
money is always going to be there. It's concurrent.
Exactly. But then once you think about like your parents are getting old, you're not getting time with your siblings. Like those are things you're missing out on. Those are some sacrifices you're building. But at the same time, that's one thing I realized. That's why I added balance to my life. I'm like, it's good to do it, but I don't want to see my sibling grow up and I'm not there to see him grow up.
Yeah.
Because then let's say he's only 10 years old now, but I've been there for him to grow up since he was a little kid. Like I was always with him. But if I was to like work every day and stay working like 9 to 5 for the rest of my life, I would have been come back to him, see him like he's 12.
Yeah.
And you miss all those good stages.
You get flustered out being too involved with your work life.
That's why I think balance is important. Like
I agree.
Like it's good to a certain point. Like work is work. Like you gotta get it done. But at the same time, you don't want to miss like present. Like it's important to live in the moment.
I agree.
You have to live in the moment. And it's like, that was just kind of answer your question is like, yeah, like for me, like the last 4 years have been just like a head down grind. But then it's like, I brought myself up like a year and a half ago. I got really sick and started working out, like bettering my life a little bit. That's why I realized that you need to have a balance because there's no way that you can just do one thing every single day for 12 hours a day and live the same way. It's not going to work.
You'll go insane.
But it's what allows us to look back on, you know, the past and know in the future that, wow, like things will be okay.
The fruits of labor.
Yeah, things will be okay. But it's like, it's so hard to bring, you know, other people into your lives. Like for example, like me, like the most important thing besides you guys is like my family. You know, like that's my number one thing. And like, I just don't like bringing people into my family that aren't worthy of that. You know what I mean?
I've made that mistake in the past. I brought one girl home.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I made the biggest mistake because I can't take any girls after that to my parents.
Yeah.
I come from an Islamic background, so once you take a girl there, it's either marriage or don't do it. So once I took that girl home to my parents, I was just like, fuck, this is gonna end up really badly. And now I can't take my current girl to my parents because I've already made the mistake.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why you gotta be super careful with who you bring to your house, especially if you're like living in an Islamic family like me. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, I can't do it yet. I gotta wait for the right moment.
And honestly, meaningless sex for me, it's like, it's kind of overrated.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, when you first get into, like, you know, you start seeing money and you start dealing with different type of women and you have the clout, it's like increases way more. Like it's fun in the beginning, but then it's coming to a point now where it's like, I like to do my thing, have fun, but just dealing with any girl, it's like not it.
What do you look for in a girl besides them looking like Elastic Girl?
Besides looks and besides like sex, honestly, I look for small acts of kindness. I look for like just a motherly type of vibe. You don't have to be boring.
Take care of your kids.
But when I'm dealing with a girl or when I'm around a girl, I'm in the back of my head, I'm like, would I want her to be like a mother of my children?
Do you think long term or short term?
I think long term with everything. Even if I'm doing something for a short term thing, I'm thinking kind of long term.
I feel like that's the best way to be about it in a relationship because you don't want to just be friends with anyone or be in a relationship with anyone because that's legit your reputation, your career on the line.
As you said earlier, they're like a reflection of you.
Exactly. So let's say you get in a bad friendship, that friendship could legit give you mental problems. Like you could be so switched off of work because that friendship has just created so many problems in your life that you can't really move forward, do work, you can't go to the gym, you can't spend time with your family just because that relationship just drained you. That's why having like good circle of friends is super important. Like you shouldn't be surrounded with losers or bums because they're gonna drag you down.
The same for when you're dealing with the girl, you should pay attention to how her friends roll, how they behave, because that could be a detriment to your relationship and your situation, success. And not only that, another thing I look for in a girl is, I was thinking about it earlier. Hold on, give me 1 second. It's very important, very important. Give me like 2 seconds. It's good. Outside of the sex, outside of being like motherly. Outside of the small acts of kindness, I look for
someone that supports you.
No. It's good. Give me a second.
Can't be that good.
Yeah.
No, it's very important to me.
It's like waiting for the ice cream machine to work at McDonald's. They're just like, sorry, it's
not ever gonna come on.
They're like, sorry, it won't work today. And then they're like, oh, hold on, we're gonna fix it.
I think I remember you telling me about it.
Mate, let's go on a commercial break real quick.
Yeah, commercial. We'll be back at 5.
No, it's very important, bro. So yeah, small acts of kindness.
Yeah. They help you out, you know, they help other people out. It's, you know, it's just selflessness. They go above and beyond.
Motherly.
Well, with kids. The friends thing you said is
Friends
very
is crazy. That's
very important. You don't think about it, but it's like when a girl says like, oh, I'm going to go out with my friends, right? It's like, what friends? Like, why don't you just tell me I'm going out with Jamie? I'm going out with Sarah. Like, why don't you just tell me that? Like, you just told me friends. Now I got to go think about it.
Yeah.
So it's like friends are super, because like most friends, bro, they influence you, right? Yeah, they influence you and make you want to do things you may not have wanted to do, or you may want it to do, but you would have restrained yourself if those people weren't there. Again, the environment's really important.
Yeah. Like they expose you to things, like your friends will expose you to things that you don't want to do, but they have an influence. Like I said the other day, like, let's say my friend is smoking, like a few of them are smoking, then I'm gonna smoke. Let's say her friends, there's 3 or 4 of them going out to a club, they're all dancing with a guy. They're all dancing with a guy, another guy's gonna approach her, she's by herself. What is she forced to do? It's either she's super loyal to you, she wouldn't do anything wrong, or she's gonna dance with the guy.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Communication. I think that's the number one thing in a relationship. If you don't have that, it's not going anywhere.
It's gonna go so south, because the problem is, bro, and this is a big one, because I'm glad you said that. Bro, we live in a society now. We live in a society where people feel like they need to be heartless. They feel like they don't need to show emotion.
Yeah.
Women do it, and men do it even more.
You got Instagram, you got
Cloud.
a girl with 2,000, 3,000 followers, and you got the Drakes in their DMs. You got guys of high status in the world tapping in with them, flying them out. It's like, that boosts your ego, bro.
That's why we always say, like, it's beyond what you can control. Like, you have to know, like, that the person that you're with is truly for you. Like, that loyalty is insane. Like, you have to be able to put her in front of those situations, and she won't fold because of the type of man that you are. But, like, these guys who are out here now, unfortunately, just aren't those kind of guys.
Simps.
They're simps. They're not men of high worth. They're not men of high value. They're not men of high prosperity. Like something that a woman would look up to and be like, wow, like I would love to be like that. I would love to learn from that. There's no value.
As a male, we're responsible for things as well. Like we gotta actually be a high value man for them to attract those high value women. So, I mean, a woman is basically a reflection of you as well, because that's what you're looking for. That's what you go out to look for. Like there was a story one time, it goes, oh, the reason why this woman ruined my life is because one night I was blinged out inside a nightclub, and then I was attracted to this girl with a Louis bag, and then this is where she actually used all my money, this and that. That's how my life went bad, because she just used me for my money. That's because you're attracted, because you're wearing all these things.
Yeah.
You're attracting that thing for you, the gold diggers.
Yeah.
So you gotta be super careful with who you get in bed with. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, big time.
Seriously, yeah, because it's an energy exchange at the end of the day. You know, you're exchanging your energy with somebody else, and if it's a person that, again, like, has no substance to them, and they're also, you know, just out there in the same situation as you, like, you're not gonna get much further. You're not gonna get much further than like what you had thought it's gonna be, which is like you're gonna go to sleep.
And you know what I've realized as well? Every woman you sleep with is basically the same. Have you guys feel the same about that?
In what way do you mean by that?
Sexually, it's all the same.
Not really.
Really?
Not really.
Like in the sense of what? Like you're saying like you get into bed with them and like they do the same thing, or like they look towards the same thing?
Yeah, what do you mean exactly? Like I'm having a hard time understanding.
No, like let's say you have sex with someone, right?
Okay.
It's the same thing with every girl.
Oh, the process.
The process.
Oh, the process, yes.
I guess, yeah. It's a sacred act. Are you saying that's like the same process?
No, I'm saying let's
so
say you
like,
have sex with someone like
Okay.
the vagina. It's the same. Like with every girl is the same. Like a lot of people will like
Juice WRLD. All girls are the same.
They're all the same. Like they're all the same.
To a certain extent. I agree.
To a certain extent. But then there's those unique traits, right? Like what makes you chase after the girl that's in your message right now? It's like, why are you chasing her? Because of the concept of like what she you don't know yet.
The chase is like the important part. Like,
The chase, I'd say, is the best part.
Yeah, like let's say a girl doesn't want you, but you want her. Like it makes you want her more, a little bit more. Like it makes you want to chase her a little bit more. That's the chase.
But there's a clear depiction of like,
she
doesn't want me.
Not that she doesn't want you at all, but like she's showing interest.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you know what it is when someone shows too much interest, I get put off.
100%.
They like message you 4 or 5 times in a row. You're like, and you just met them. It's like, whoa, what the fuck?
If someone's playing hard to get, it's like a bit better. It's like, okay.
I honestly love.
I like a challenge.
I like a challenge as well. If she's playing hard to get, you probably got me.
Yeah.
I never had a girlfriend, but I had situations like probably 3-4 months long. They're pursuing me, but I'm like, I haven't lived life enough to where.
Dude, I feel like heartbreaks make you. Heartbreaks make you to a person you are.
I mean, if you're that guy, like you'll keep going.
Yeah.
If you're not that guy.
Dude, some people, the ones with the weak mentality, they're the ones that get crushed. Mm-hmm. But some people are like, oh wow, this is like a stepping stone for me to actually get on my shit. Yeah. Like it's time for me to actually work harder because this one didn't work out. Like it actually makes you like. For me, that was the case.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, this didn't work out, but I gotta level myself up take myself to a new height, because that's the only way I could get out of that mindset and mentality. Because what's a better way of just becoming a better version of yourself? Like you have so much time, you don't have to worry about no girls, nothing. You're just working on yourself. Like that's the most important thing.
I mean, yeah, and yeah.
That can be tough, like,
Yeah, shit.
I'm just thinking.
He's like, wow, facts.
you gotta, like, trust the process when you're in that situation, you know? It's like, you're gonna wake up and, like, it might be tough, but you just have to, like, put in the work.
Yeah. There's honestly, like, even to this day, like, I mean, the day I dropped my site, you were there, and the first day, it did super well. Yeah. And then maybe 3-4 weeks after that, completely plummeted, you know what I'm saying? Because 1, I'm not promoting it. 2, I wasn't running ads or anything like that. Like, there's multiple things that factor into why a brand continuously kills it. You know what I'm saying?
Continuously works.
And you can get high on the success that you have in the moment, but if you're not continuously working, shipping things out to influencers, this, that, you can't be surprised why you're not doing shit.
Yeah, no, it's good. I like what you said, because we were just listening to an interview that Jeff Bezos did like 8 years ago, and he's like, you know, when my employees come to me like, oh, Jeff, the stock's up 40% this quarter. He's like, don't tell me that. Like, why are you telling me that? Because if you tell me that, and if you believe it, forget telling me, but if you believe it, and then next month it's not a great quarter for whatever reason, then you're going to feel some sort of way. But like, you realize like the growth of the company isn't next month or next quarter. It's 10 years. It's 5 years.
Yeah.
It's your vision. Like, he thinks, you know, the CEO of Amazon thinks in the sense of like 3-year decisions, he says, which is like, that's the level of like confidence you're going to get to in your business. So like, why would you like ride a slow high that like it's going to last for a day or two, you know?
Bro, I love that you said that, because literally what I told myself and Salim when we first started is that I'll do this for 5 years. If nothing comes of it, I'll literally become a Venice Beach bum and just paint and like just live a simple life like that. And to this day, I still stand on that. Like, but obviously that's way beyond now. Like, I'm in a different position. That was like when we had $0, you know? And it's crazy that I had the courage and balls to say that at that time when we were in high school.
When there's nothing there.
Like 18 years old.
But that's, you know, we were talking to Mikey at one of our last interviews, and like he said the same thing. He's like, I didn't care. Like, I'll live in my car, you know, I'll do anything. And that's that killer mindset, not murder, but killer, you know, like you are assertive as fuck to the point where like you may not have it now, the way to do it, or the means, or the ability to do it, but you will give yourself the means by just motivating yourself simply by saying, hey, like, I'm going to make this happen. When you repeat it to yourself, when you see it, when you put it in your head, it'll stay there. It'll stay there for years. It'll stay there forever. So,
that's the power of it. Like, you gotta speak things into existence. Like Casual said, you gotta see it, speak it, believe it, and repeat it.
Act on it.
Yeah.
If we didn't act on it, we were filming literally every single day, sleeping in our car, sleeping at fans' houses here and there. Like, slept at like 8 or 9 different fans' houses, like 2 weeks, a month, 9 months, you know, on and off we actually slept underneath the USC bridge for like a night or two.
That's crazy.
Like just so we can get it done, you know.
But that's that level of dedication, bro. And that's the reason why you're here today. Like, you know, you probably obviously look back on it like, wow, like
I did this shit.
I did that shit
Yeah.
for real. Like,
Yeah.
there's no one that, and that's why I tell these boys, I'm like, bro, like, don't worry. Like, you know, people may have the way that they think about things and say things about us, but like, we know the real story. We know like actually what happened and like how we got here.
Yeah.
So there's no way that you can come and tell me like, oh, you know, that's not real, or oh, this is fake. Like, oh, you know, you guys don't deserve this. Like, it wouldn't make sense, you know. And I think
We're
we wanna-
documenting the whole process.
Yeah.
So that's what's cool about it. You guys
To this day.
You guys have been documenting the process too.
Yeah.
So, bro, yeah, and like before the Sun ruins our shot here, dude, I wanted to thank you, Jordan, for coming out as well, because this is a fucking thing that I wanted to do for years. Obviously, we've been friends and colleagues and things like that. But dude, I really want people to hear this because it's where a lot of people are at right now. You know, getting out of high school the last couple of months, you remember, not
100%,
knowing
bro.
where the fuck you're gonna go in March.
It's scary.
It's very scary.
Fuck, bro. It's scary, bro.
Yeah.
You have to have balls.
You have to have that assertiveness, and I think that's one thing you guys take away from this is like be assertive in whatever it is that you do. If you be assertive, you will get what is coming to you, and be a good person, because at the end of the day, like we have that judgment day where it's like fuck, like what did you do your entire life? Like these actions are going to be judged.
Yeah.
So make sure that you're making good actions and that you're treating people the way that you want to be treated, because the way you came in this world is going to be how you left.
I agree.
And, it's hard.
You live this world with legit nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you come out of your mom and then you go get married. I mean, you get buried. You get buried.
You get married or buried. Or both. But yeah.
You get buried like with nothing. You don't take your money there. You don't take your houses with you. You don't take your kids. It's just you. You're buried in the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I want to thank you, Kazra, and the boys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Adwide for
Yes, sir.
showing so much love to me
Boy.
and trusting in me, and I trust in you guys.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, off the strength of your personality too.
Yes, sir.
I'm very proud of your success. I've been watching you like the past 2-3 years, like since we've been out of high school and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you first started doing your drop shipping, I even tried to do it early on. Like you were always there for me. You didn't have to ever be by my side, and now we're to the point where we're locked in, and we're just going to continuously grow together, make this thing big, and
fucking take this to Mars.
Yeah.
Take this to another planet.
100%.
Let's fucking do it, boys.
go,
All right.
brother.
Let's go.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Boy, yes,
Hell yeah.
sir.